Hey everyone, it's Mano and we're flying back into another Destiny 2 strategy guide video today. Today we're going to be showing you how to do the Harbinger Mission solo flawless. However, this time I'm going to do it on a Warlock, and frankly I think that Warlock is one of the easiest classes to use for this. If you are struggling at all, having a Warlock with this kind of build is going to be absolutely insane and easy for you to complete this with. Again, this is not for people who are just doing this for the first time. This is for people who are looking to get the solo flawless on a Warlock. Let's show you the loadout I'm going to be using. Since many of the enemies in this activity are going to be taken and many of them are going to be shooting arc, we are going to use the time-tested combination of Devour and Risk Runner. It is an insanely powerful combo, especially when you are going up against any kind of taken enemies. I'm going to be bringing along my trusty sniper rifle that I love, my Long Shadow, as well as Risk Runner and a Falling Guillotine. Falling Guillotine is still obtainable in the world, so it should be easy for people to get. Everything else is going to be built around either reloading with my transversive steps, where I won't need to really reload anything, or I'm going to be using all of my different abilities to make super powerful sword attacks, whether it's Loosened Blade or Charges of Light. As always, when we start this, I'm going to shoot that wall because that is going to bring the wizard over to this side. You'll see that she approaches that left side coming towards the wall, and there I'll be able to do my Falling Guillotine shot over there. Now here I could skip the snipers, but I'm going to go ahead and knock them out just to be safe. This is almost a sub 15 run. Had I pushed it a little bit farther or not taking care of the snipers, I probably would have gotten a sub 15 run, but I wanted to make sure that I got a clean run on my Warlock. But again, you could push it a little bit farther or ignore these folks at your peril, but this is a very safe and easy strategy. Now, the nice thing about this is that as soon as that Cabal Centurion or Taken Centurion comes at you, he will start shooting arc at you. And when that happens, you can go ahead and use Arc Conductor, and any enemies that get in your way, you can go ahead and shred through. Now, if they start to come around the corner and start to do damage, you can go ahead and use your grenade to go ahead and enable Devour and get some life back. Since I didn't have to do that, I'm going to go ahead and make my way over here. Now, the trusty method I've used to go and fight this Taken Captain is to actually put down a healing rift at this spot and kind of draw him in. Otherwise, a lot of times, if you're super offensive to him, he will very much like to run away. So instead, I try to draw him in. Now that we've moved all the bosses to the side rooms, we can go ahead and select the order in which we want to kill them. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and take care of the Taken Captain first. I'm going to go ahead and use a Devour Grenade in here just to make sure I can generate some life in case if some of the enemies are shielded. Since I am not using a Solar Sword, there is a chance that I could actually get killed in this area, so you want to just make sure you keep swiping. A Falling Guillotine will penetrate the swords and then do some damage to them, so you just want to make sure that you're safe. Now, a cool thing that I found out about this mission, and something I referenced just a couple of seconds ago, is the fact that when you go into the reservoir, some people had noticed that you get different orders of combinations of enemies when you get to the area before the jumping puzzle. It has to do with the order in which you kill these bosses in these areas. So I killed the Taken Captain first, then I'm going to go ahead and get the Taken Centurion in this area, and then I'm going to go ahead and get the wizard, so they'll spawn in that area. Now, here's a really cool strategy in this room. I can go ahead and just use the Arc Conductor charge and just keep shredding enemies there, because I can hide from the wizard. The wizard will stay over on that backside, and you will be able to go ahead and shred through those enemies. Now, if this happens again where you've got some of the enemies shielding others, just take a second, snipe them, and then move on to the next one. At this particular spot, I'm going to go ahead and come down here. If I can get Arc Conductor to spawn up and do some damage to the enemies, that's great. But the nice thing about a lot of these ads is that they are going to have void shields. I can really easily just take a second, use my sword, and knock them out. As soon as all those enemies are down, take a look around and see if you see any ammunition underneath you, but that's no big deal. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to let the wizard shoot all of her shots here again, because incoming solar damage is devastating in this mission. I'm going to let her shoot all those shots, and I'm going to stun her before her final shots come there. With that, we're good to head into the reservoir. And again, the order in which you destroyed those bosses in those side rooms are going to be the order that the ads spawn in this area. So the order is going to be Taken Captains first, followed by the Taken Centurions with an Unstoppable, followed by the Wizards with 2 Unstoppables. So here you can see the Taken bosses came on up. And I'm running Devour at this point just because I want to keep my Devour running all the time. I want to be generating energy for my melees as well as my swords, as well as my grenades. Now, the way I'm going to stun the Unstoppables is to use the mod on the artifact that allows me to stun them with a melee. So I'll show you how that works in just a second. So now we're on the second phase. At this point, we're going to go ahead and make sure we take care of the 2 snipers real quick. And be careful because some of the enemies might start to push you at this point. You can see there are the Centurions and there's the 1 Unstoppable that's going to try and come around the corner here. Now, luckily, I'm able to generate Arc Conductor here by taking a little bit of damage from the Unstoppable champion, but no big deal here. I'm just going to go ahead and play it safe, do as much as I can to do as much damage to those Centurions as possible. And again, I'm keeping Devour up all the time. I'm keeping that up all the time so that I can generate energy for grenades, melees, everything here. The nice thing about this rock outcropping over here is that I can do some pretty awesome damage here. Now, if that happens where you go for the Unstoppable champion and it does not work, luckily, if he blocks it, you will still maintain your void melee charge. You just want to be careful that you don't accidentally melee another enemy because that will take it away. So what we're going to do is I'm going to let him shoot that shot. Then I'll be able to hit him with my melee and then I will be able to move on and finish him on up. I also have the modifier on my artifact that allows me to stun an enemy and instantly get my melee charge back. At this point, I'm going to stun him. And again, that's why I got my melee charged back so quickly. And you can see I'm able to shred a lot of damage there. Unfortunately, I just, force of habit, I meleeed that Taken enemy here, and that is going to slow me down. In fact, this is another instance of possibly getting a sub 15 run. I just made one silly little mistake, so you want to make sure you keep that charge because otherwise you're just going to have to run around and wait for your melee charge to come on back. Now, I'm going to play it safe here at this point. I want to keep getting Devour procced. There are going to be a number of enemies, but unfortunately there isn't going to be any kind of arc damage that's going to be coming through this spot. So you just want to make sure you take your time and continue to kill all these enemies whenever you can. There are going to be quite a few of them, and there might be some of those Thrall that will respawn that may be an issue for you. So again, just use whatever cover you can and draw those champions into choke points. Like you can see here, I'm drawing him in this choke point here so I can do a little bit of damage. At this point, I want to finish him so I can generate more sword ammo. Now, because I did not stun the Unstoppable, I will not get my melee charge back. You can see that my melee did not come back right away. So again, I'm having to wait, which again is a little bit of an annoyance. So don't do that if you are running this exact setup like I am. Now here you can see a couple of additional enemies will spawn up. Not a big deal. Just go ahead and sword through them. Here at this moment, I've got my melee. So now the point is to make sure that I don't accidentally get killed when going after the boss, and we're good to go. All right, we're going to move into the jumping puzzle here. There is nothing major to think about with this other than realize that the path is different than in week 1. Having transversive steps is actually going to help me out quite a bit in this area because it is going to allow me to get across to some places I normally would not get to. Go ahead and keep moving through this area and jump through the portal into the Hallowed Rift. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and take out my sword because that's going to make jumping a little bit easier. I'm going to hop up to this area here, and then instead of jumping down and running all the way around, if you pace your jumps really carefully with the Warlock, you can just jump and skip that whole area there. Make your way around here so that you can make your way up to the tree. Now, I'm going to level with you folks. I'm not great at jumping with the Warlock. I am much more of a hunter or a Titan person, so you might need to make sure you pace your jumps out a little bit easier. You can easily get yourself caught up on that tree, so just be careful. We're going to go ahead and go through this little rock outcropping here. And we're going to go ahead and go over to the right side ledge. Now, before you jump over there, take care of that taken enemy that could snipe you from a distance. I actually died in one of my runs just learning and prepping how to do this, and it was really unfortunate because I was almost at the end and he just sniped me and I did not even realize he was there. At this point, there's going to be a ton of enemies that are going to be shooting arc at you, so just go ahead and take out Risk Runner and shred through them. In addition, if you really do want to, you can go ahead and skip that area, but you do that at your peril. You do not always have to kill those enemies on that side, but some of those enemies might be shooting you and you do have to touch base there for just a second. As a hunter, when I did my hunter run, it's a lot easier just to go invisible and move on through that point. Now here again, you do want to be careful that you don't accidentally get booped off the edge here. But one of the nice things about getting booped off here is that that is an arc attack. So if you did get booped, you can actually, or pushed off the edge, if you will. If you do get pushed off the edge, you'll actually trigger Arc Conductor, which could actually work in your favor. Here at this point, though, I don't really want to get pushed off the edge. I want to make sure that I'm good to go. I'm going to go ahead and make sure that my sword charge is ready to go. Sometimes one of the enemies almost seems like he falls off the edge at that point. Here, I'm going to go ahead and get Arc Conductor rolling. We go ahead and take care of a couple of the enemies. And now at this point, this is where I'm going to have to battle a little bit with the unstoppable champion. Now at this point, for some reason, he's not taking as much damage as he normally does. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead, back up, get my bearings. Again, make sure I've got my melee charge to knock him out. And then at this point, go ahead and finish him. Make sure I've got as much ammunition as I can possibly get. Now at this point, I'm going to go ahead again and exploit using Risk Runner and its explosive tendencies. I'm going to go ahead and charge up and get Devour rolling. I'm going to wait until I get hit by something and get Arc Conductor rolling, and then you just shred all the enemies. Now, this is a good strategy for people who don't have Warmind Cell builds. If you do have Risk Runner, this is an easy thing that you can do, so you can clear out a lot of enemies really easily. However, if you do have a Warmind Cell weapon, like an Ikelos weapon or a 7th Seraph, that is going to clear all those enemies much faster. In this case, I'm using Risk Runner and leaning on that, so that is what I'm doing. Again, take care of those light carriers or those light bearer enemies there and throw the relics at the boss. And here I'm going to make sure that I get some distance and I get my life recharged before I go in and start to do some damage. At this point, I'm going to make sure that I put down my rift first and then go in for the sword attack. Now, I'm not going to lie to you, I got really lucky with that particular attack. I was able to stun him and stay within my rift. Had he finished that stomp mechanic and not been stunned, I definitely would have been dead at that point. Again, there's no reason to push it too far too fast. Just get your life back. You can see it does not take much for his stomp mechanic to do some significant damage. Again, at this point, we're going to move to the opposite side and wait for them to shoot you. Sometimes you have to shoot them first, but that's just a weird thing about taking enemies. Go ahead and knock out all of the enemies that you possibly can. Again, a Warmind Cell build would probably be a little bit better here, just because it would kill all the enemies instantaneously. But if all you've got is Risk Runner, this is the play. We're going to go ahead and move over, grab a couple of those relics, knock out the boss, shield, and make sure that we've got our rift charge. You can see here I'm kind of delaying it just a little bit to make sure I've got my rift, and I'm going to move away the opposite way and kind of attack from behind. He will turn around and try to hit you, and luckily here he pushes me just a little bit. I need to go back to the rift very shortly, or else I'm going to die at this point. I got very lucky. And then the other thing is that you can also use your shield to block, but that is a last-ditch effort thing that you can do. Now at this point, I'm going to go ahead and look over, see where he is, do a little bit of damage, possibly with a sniper. But at this point, I just need to proc another stomp from him so that I can move on to the next thing. I haven't seen him do a stomp once he puts his shields back up immediately. That's usually something that he does only when his shield is down. And then rinse and repeat with this side. We're going to go ahead and use Devour and just shred all the enemies we possibly can. Not going to lie to you, this is a lot of fun just to be able to shred through all the different enemies and all the Acolyte eyes to generate all that you need. This is a very foolproof strategy for those people who aren't so great at using Warmind cell builds, or they don't have them available, or you're needing to generate a whole ton of life, because using Devour will constantly generate life, especially in those areas there where you have a lot of those enemies. Now at this point, I'm going to go ahead and pick up a relic. I wanted to pick up that second relic before I moved, but instead I'm just going to go ahead and kill him at this spot. Go ahead, pick up the relic, and get ready to move. Again, you want to make sure that before you go in to attack the boss, you've got your life there, because otherwise you might get stomped. And the stomp mechanic is just as powerful as it was years ago. It has not been nerfed, so you want to make sure that you are careful. Now here I'm going to go ahead and unleash my Nova Bomb, move into this area, and use my heavy attack. And that is how you do it on the Warlock. A very, very, very easy run for the Warlock to do, especially because of all the life and ability generating abilities that they have. This is a lot of fun to do as well, especially because you get to use Risk Runner and the Warlock Devour build, which is always a lot of fun to use. All right, everybody, that does it for this one. Thanks so much for watching. If you did like something in this video, or if you used any of the strategies, make sure you leave a positive rating down below. Also, leave me a comment down below in case if you were thinking of different builds that you could run on this. I'm always interested to see what my viewers are using during these runs. I've heard a lot of different suggestions from folks, and it's really cool to hear from you folks. And if and only if this video has helped you out, or if any of my other content has helped you out in the past, consider subscribing to the channel. We're almost at 60K subscribers. We've been growing a ton, especially in the last month. It's been so awesome to see so many people join the community. And if you want a great place to hang out, come join the Manoverse Discord community. The link for that is down in the description box below. We have great places where people can talk about Destiny, weapon rolls. You can even share pet pics or fun memes inside the Discord. It's a lot of fun. So come and join us over there. And always, if you need any kind of help, come over to twitch.tv/ManoDestra777, where I help people out in PvP. We do raids, dungeons, exotic missions, and we also have some fun in PvP, as well as some fun things with undercover LFG. So come check it out. Good hunting, Guardians. I will see you next time in the universe of Destiny.